Her glam team saw her behavior and was like, oh yeah.
Content and trigger warning. This show contains strong language, mentions of intimacy, and conversations about challenging faith experiences. Content is not appropriate for children. Please listen with care. For details on individual episodes, visit www.soakoperapodcast.com. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed are our own, based on personal commentary and speculation. It may not be factual.
Welcome to Soak Opera, the podcast where ex-Mormon besties unpack the chaos of Utah's wildest reality shows, because Utah's reality is stranger than fiction. I'm Nina, blessed LDS, even more blessed to have been raised Catholic, currently in my FLDS core era.
And I'm Shelby, a Utah-bred ex-Mormon who is now a Miss-loving missionary for Provo. For those of you who are new to the show, Nina and I have been best friends for 10 years. We both lived in Utah for a long time, and we met working at a modest clothing store founded by Mormons. We both worked there as non-Mormons. I had left by then, but yeah, here we are.
Yes, and on today's podcast episode, we are going to be talking about Utah beauty, focusing on hair and makeup. What a fun time. It's especially since Utah is the capital for plastic surgery. All things with sculpted cheekbones, plump lips, all that jazz. It is all seen here. It's so fun to talk about these trends and everything. If you've seen Real Housewives of Salt Lake City or The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you know that they talk all about how they do their hair. There's hairstylists on both of the shows. There's Heather Gay on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, who owns a med spa, with two locations, and it's fun to see their beauty evolution even on the show.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. And you brought up something so interesting that a lot of people don't know about Utah, is that it is considered to be the plastic surgery capital of the United States. There was more plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures performed. A lot of that is Utah women, but also a lot of people travel to Utah to get plastic surgery, Botox. It's apparently inexpensive there for the quality that you're getting. I haven't actually dug into that, but we did have a very regular customer at our Mormon clothing store who worked as an assistant at a plastic surgery office, and she told us about it occasionally. But that is just a fact, that Utah has the most plastic surgery per capita. I wouldn't say it's super common in some of the outer suburbs, like in Ogden. I really don't see a lot of plastic surgery, but if you go to Draper, which is where a lot of the cast of Secret Lives live, it is more common to not have plastic, or it's more common to have it than it is to not have it, I should say.
Yeah, I would say especially the more south you go in terms of the valley. So Salt Lake, there's some plastic surgery here and there, but the more you go south towards Draper, Sandy, West Jordan, Provo, Lehigh, there everyone is perfect. They all have amazing skin. They all have talent beyond belief. Talent as in bus line. I say all of this because I'm very jealous. Utah really does consider itself to be on the cutting edge of all things beauty. There's so much technology being pioneered here in terms of permanent makeup, different hairstyles and techniques, thinking about microbladed eyebrows, thinking about those fluffy, voluptuous lashes that go on for days. Sometimes you wish they would stop, but also sometimes you're like begging some people to like, please blink at me and blow me away with your beautiful lashes.
Yeah, it's interesting to go from Utah to California, where California beauty is still very important, but it's supposed to look natural, and that like I mean, you're paying a lot to go to the dermatologist and have, you know, poreless skin, but then you're wearing very little makeup on top of that. And in Utah, the makeup is very glam. I feel like Utah makeup is very heavy, and there's less of a focus on like dermatology and the care of like the health of your hair, and it's more about being done up. You also mentioned extensions. I mean, girl, the extensions are everywhere. Extensions galore. And I feel like Utah puts a big voluminous hair is very popular, and hair extensions, long, thick hair, but doing that by making your hair healthy or doing things like a blowout is not as common as like ratting your hair, that kind of a thing. So yeah, it's just very different. It's very done up, and it's more kind of, I feel like it's applied that morning versus something you would get done by a doctor in terms of like your skin and nails and whatnot. Nails, hair, eyelashes. Lots of glue is happening.
Yes, it's all about the instant results, I think. Whereas in California, you might see more red light treatment on your scalp to get more hair. Here in Utah, it is all about the tape-ins, sew-in, well, not sew-ins, those little K beads, those K-tip beads, extensions, just extensions galore. And it's funny that you say volume, like voluminous hair. I think it's more about density of hair versus volume, because it is crazy to me how much hair people have, but it is so slick down. It is so, there's no frizz. And as a naturally curly person here, I have so much frizz. And when Angie K in Real Housewives of Salt Lake called Brittany Bateman, when she called her out saying you have high body count hair, I felt attacked. I felt like I'd caught a bullet by ricochet. Although I do not need a bumpa. There's no sock. There's no sock in any of this. So it's just so interesting because people out here want to have their hair as long as possible. And of course, when you follow the trends, sometimes your hair will get short, but of course that ain't no thing that an extension can't cover up, because you will see, I mean, no judgment. All of this is coming from insane envy, because I wish I could afford to get $1,000 extensions. But also I'm like, you know what? I'm not at the level where I can maintain that. And so the amount of love you have to have for yourself, the amount of patience and attention to detail, it is so necessary to be able to do all of those things. It's just so fun. Out here, what would you say are the trends you have noticed over time in Utah? So like growing up, did you grow up watching your mom put on her makeup?
My mom has never been a big makeup girl. I mean, I brought this up before, but the side part is just like never going away. The side part is really, really big in Utah. And I feel like not just hair extensions became super popular in like the 2010s, but I also think Utah is a very do-it-yourself place, just period. So another difference I see a lot between like California and Utah is like a lot of Utahns are making their own hair extensions. They are matching the colors themselves. They are cutting it themselves sometimes. They're doing clip-ins that are something that's more achievable on your own. A lot of Utah women will teach themselves how to do acrylic nails or eyelash extensions. And here it's very strange. Like, people are shocked when they're like, you dye your own hair. Aren't you afraid you're going to ruin it? And I'm like, I've ruined it many, many times. Trust me. But yeah, it's been trial and error since high school. But I think like as you see places like Sally's make things available, it like booms in Utah. Lots of do it yourself. I feel like penny pinching is kind of like budgeting is a lot more prevalent than a lot of other places. You're thinking about having a large family, and Utahns are very big in like preparing for disaster, preparing for the end of the world, preparing for the economy to collapse. That played such a huge role in my childhood, and like I didn't even realize how crazy it was till I moved somewhere else, and I'm like, I have a food storage, and people are like, you have a food storage? That's insane. And I'm like, there's an earthquake here every other week and you don't have a food storage? What are you talking about? So I do think Utahns are very thrifty in general. So yeah, I'd say just like do-it-yourselfers. I feel like the circled on eyeliner, just like when it's just a circle around your eye, was, I mean, it was everywhere in like the early 2000s, but it just never left Utah. Same with blunt bobs. It's been in and out and in and out of fashion everywhere else, but in Utah, like Whitney's, I love Whitney's hair, by the way, and Bronwyn. Their blunt bob is like something that has steadily been in Utah forever. I've done a blunt bob many times. It's either you've got extensions down to your butt or you have a blunt bob. Those are the two options. I feel like Whitney's beauty and hair and Brittany's beauty and hair, to me, out of the cast of Real Housewives of Salt Lake, they're the most Utah-esque to me.
Absolutely. And to get historical, if you haven't already, you need to be watching TLC's Sister Wives.
Oh, yes.
They make me so nostalgic for vintage, because I think it's vintage at this point. Vintage or back in the day, Utah beauty, Utah hair and makeup, because you're seeing Mary and her iconic just black all around the eyes, which of course makes her blue eyes look incredibly piercing. And of course you're seeing the highlights, the frosted tips from Cody.
Chunky highlights. Yeah, they never went away. It like started in the 90s around the globe, and Utah was like, this is ours forever.
Yes, never letting it go. And I think we have to make sure, let me make sure to put this context in too. So in general, in the US, when we think about beauty is subjective and all of that, but thinking about the overall beauty standard, whiteness is rewarded. We're thinking about, you know, a lot of the same things with, I'm like, sorry to make it real dark here, but anything like Aryan Nation, Holocaust, all those reasons, like blonde, blue-eyed, straight teeth, they're looking for this kind of perfect ideal, and those people get rewarded. And now there's been a lot of progress, but of course those underlying themes still remain in terms of having what is considered healthy. So having voluminous hair, like if you have a lot of hair, that means you're healthy. If you have full lips, that means you're healthy. All of these things signify fertility, virility, all of those markers that are basically like, hey, you consider me pretty because of XYZ, again, beauty standards. And so it's so crazy. We have this beauty standard that's all the way up here. And so to me, you have to do all these things because remember, beauty is pain and beauty is not cheap. So doing it at home does save money because, like you said, if you've got 4 to 6 kids to feed, you can't really spend.
You're giving 10% of your income.
Exactly. Yeah.
Being blondness is abundant in Utah. It's so funny because as you know, I was blonde for a very long time, and I dyed my hair red because I work in a more tech space, and I don't want to be like, I don't want the stereotype of being a dumb blonde on top of all the other things that can happen in tech. But yeah, somebody from here was like, oh, well, now that you live in California and there's more blondes, don't you think that that's not an issue? And I was like, no, there are way more blondes in Utah. Everyone is blonde. Everyone's white too. There's not a lot of racial diversity in Utah, just period, anywhere. It doesn't really matter where you're at. There's just not a lot of people of color. And it is, I mean, there is the California look where you think of like, you know, like the Playboy bunny kind of gal or like the Marilyn Monroe gal. But it's really shocking to, even from Utah, like flying back home, the entire plane is white people with blonde hair, and they're like 4 children with their packed lunches. So yeah, it's I don't know why California has the more of the, we think of them people from California as being blonde, but no, Utah is blowing them out of the water in terms of blonde people and plastic surgery for sure.
Yes. Because when I think of California, I think of the blonde surfer, like super tan skin, like their hair is lighter than their skin because they're just so sun-kissed. Usually that's sun damage, but that aside, like living in Utah is hard. So I grew up in Idaho, and in this area, like in this Mormon Valley, being Latina, like, so I'm from Puerto Rico, but I'm white. Colonialism made me white, and it's hard because I've gotten a lot of compliments like, oh, you're so pretty for Latina, which is again, like that's all colorism, and it's really gross and frustrating.
You're beautiful for just a human on this planet. I mean, I would murder someone for your hair, and you know that.
I would murder someone to look like you, Shelby. So it's just crazy, like living here and not fitting into the beauty standard just makes you question yourself so hard because, like, again, even just having brown hair, it's like, so I'm ugly. I'm ugly. But you have to like take a step back and think about the greater context of things and just remember that it's not all that's cracked up to be, you know? Because self-love at the end of the day is the most important thing, because trying to jump through all these hoops to look a certain way will never get you where you want to be because they're always going to redraw the lines. Beauty trends, all of that are constantly changing. So this, like, enough with the preaching, but it's just crazy. And so in talking, let's get back to Utah beauty and thinking about Utah makeup. When I think of Utah makeup, especially classic Utah makeup, I'm thinking like peak 2010s. I'm thinking super thick inner waterline black eyeliner, which looks kind of crazy and unhinged on super pale people with super blonde hair and super piercing blue eyes. I'm thinking super strong contour. MLMs are huge out here, so they are using all the Avon, the Mary Kay. There's even, I've seen a ton of this one called like Scent or something. It's with an S.
Yeah,
drives
there's
me up the
also
wall.
beautiful, which is like beautiful, but then it's spelled instead of the letter U, it's Y-O-U. There's like a dash Y-O-U.
Mhm. It's like and unique.
Perfectly posh is also, yes. Yeah. Well, this kind of ties into something else I wanted to bring up with like just Utah women and work. Work maybe less so now, but still more so than I would say the rest of the United States. But work is kind of something that women do until they get married, and then you just stop. And maybe you'll work a little bit, but you don't ever think about like building a career. But like, let's say your husband gets laid off or he's starting his own business or something like that. You might work part-time, but you're never, a lot of Utah women are in a mindset of like, I'm building a career. And I think that plays a big role in why there's so many MLMs, but also just a lot of women with beauty licenses and licenses to cut hair. It's just kind of seen as like quick, relatively inexpensive way to make a decent amount of money. And then it's not like you're out the whole cost of a degree per se. But yeah, I knew tons and tons and tons of women who had a license to cut hair, beauty licenses that they just didn't use because they were like, oh, I was just doing it till I got married.
Mhm. Yeah, because then the expectation is that your career is to be a mother.
Yeah,
Be a mother
exactly.
and a wife. So you have to just give up all your life aspirations. And not to say that being a mother and a wife isn't a aspiration of its own, but um, there's a lot of prioritization of being able to control your own schedule. Like when you have a ton of kids, and like you said, if things were to go wrong with your husband, where this is all in a heterosexist society, like if something were to happen to your husband's career, if there were to be some downtime or a divorce, like you're thinking about how can I make money quickly, and that's when some people in their most desperate times turn to MLMs.
Mhm.
And it is just
Yeah.
unfathomable how vulnerable people are that these MLMs try to take advantage of. But it's really fun to see what's currently happening in terms of more women becoming their own business owners. Like they're starting podcasts, they're starting YouTube channels, they're becoming influencers, they're taking life by the reins and however they want, especially since in Utah, small business laws really benefit small business owners.
Yeah. Yes, there are so many small businesses in Utah, and entrepreneurship is very, very much a part of Utah culture. And I've also just noticed in my life, I don't know, I can't speak to how common this is statewide, but just a lot of Utahns in the church borrowing money or getting investments from people in their ward, in their network. I know a lot of people talk, I mean, like Lisa Barlow, a lot of people online are speculating that she did a bunch of sexual favors to get these loans and whatnot. To me, I don't think it's weird or crazy at all that she borrowed a ton of money from somebody that she knew from like the Mormon church or in that network, because I saw it a lot. It, yeah, I just, you just see people just invest in each other's small businesses. It doesn't seem crazy to me as somebody who grew up there, but I understand. I mean, I would never do that here. I mean, I wouldn't do that, period. But I mean, that would be really crazy to see that in my community here. I also think that like the whole MLM and influencer thing, it's a way for women to have independence and have something for themselves in a way that works around their husband's job. It's really uncommon for women to demand and expect equality in terms of like respect for their career path. And if you are working in an MLM or if you are working as an influencer, you can do that around everyone else's schedule. You can do that around taking your kids to soccer practice and school and making dinner, and do it sort of in your free time after you've taken care of everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And really it's important to rely on, well, in a way, this is all relying on the strong sense of community that there is out here within the LDS church, between LDS members, because if they're calling you up to report that your kid is wearing a tank top, it seems like that's a good
something that happened to my sister.
Yes. It seems like that would be a good segue into, hey, would you like to support me starting my small business selling modesty tees?
Yeah. I mean, you also are just like in people's homes and like in their lives constantly. Because you are going to be going to church with all of the people in your neighborhood. At least in my neighborhood growing up, there was maybe 2 houses in like a mile radius of people that were not Mormons. We all knew who they were. They're the non-Mormons. We're not allowed to play with them. But I mean, you're constantly doing activities with people in your age group as well. If you are an adult woman with children, you are always going to be in other adult women's homes with their kids too. You're going to be doing home teaching. You're going to be making stuff for this church activity. You're going to be making casseroles for so-and-so's baptism, so-and-so's wedding. You're just in each other's homes all the freaking time. And because it's the population of Mormons is so dense in the suburbs too, you're not even driving to do this stuff a lot of the time. You're walking across the street, you're walking next door. You just are.
No, I laugh because
MLM makes a
true.
lot of sense. I mean, of course, I don't actually think it makes sense, but if I am a Mormon woman who is trying to have a job around everybody else, the segue is pretty easy to encounter while you're at Sister Green's house making cornflake casserole for little Timmy's baptism. Then yeah, you can totally pitch your MLM to her.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so much of that is also where the beauty, where the makeup is happening, where it's like, okay, let's do each other's nails while this casserole's baking. And by the way, you can also buy these dazzling diva. Is that one of them?
No, wait, dazzling diva is a legit, like, you can buy it at Ulta.
There's
I don't
another
think that's
one. There's another one that definitely was it. The stick-on nails. There's also like the lip scent.
Yes.
I had several people come into our store and try to sell me lip scents. I was like, please.
Oh my God, I can't. Now, my mom went to beauty school. She's actually an incredible hairdresser. She thinks she's not. It blows my mind. She is so good with hair, and she really hasn't used her license much. She stopped working when she got married and focused on being a homemaker, but trading things for, I mean, my mom would, if you babysit my kids, I'll cut your hair. If you help me, I don't know, crochet this thing for the temple, cut your hair. You trade a lot of stuff like that too. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And it's really heartwarming, the community aspect. Like, since I was the non-Mormon, no one, not very many people were allowed to play with me, but like there were a couple Mormon families that we were pretty close to. And I remember going to their house and their friends and their Mormon friends like coming over, and it was like it was such a fun time, like when I was included. So I just look back on that so fondly. And it's so true that if your mom, like if your mom's not doing something, it's either your mom's best friend or your best friend. Like I remember, or like if you babysat for someone, like, oh, okay, like you babysat my kids at like, there were there's so many beauty schools out here. And so you can afford, for a really great price, you can get your nails done, or if someone's learning, they're like, oh, like I need to get my hours in, let me do a gel manicure on you, or doing each other's hair and makeup. And it's so interesting to see like the different trends, the different standards, and the different ideology, because there's also a lot of prioritization of natural makeup and beauty, and thinking about how there are some people who are like, okay, gel nails, okay, vaccines are not. We'll cure anything with anything with maple syrup and beef tallow.
Oh
Will
yeah,
not.
cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
Cayenne pepper and honey is a.
And I love me a good home remedy in combination with some good old-fashioned, highly proven medicine, you know? And so it is just hilarious to me to see that there's so many beautiful people out here who like can do such amazing, cool things, like do all what, and there's like the training to be a hairstylist is more intensive than it is to be a cop. And still there's some people out there who are just like, I absolutely draw the line. Like the only injections I'm getting are Botox.
Yeah, no, really. It is very funny to be so afraid of science in some areas, but I don't know. I don't know if this is like the shift from me living in Utah to California, but there are some other things like that. Like, for example, thinness, like, you know, you want to be thin in Utah as well as many other places, but I wouldn't say there's like a lot of health nuts in that they're eating super organic. It's like, it's more, there's a lot of like kind of like potato chip vegetarians adjacent kind of a thing. If that makes sense. I think to me, I think that is probably a result of just like the large families. You're buying stuff in bulk, you're trying to cook for a lot of people at once, and so, you know, you're going to be making weird recipes with stuff that was on sale or stuff that you got in bulk. That is one thing I love about Big Love, is they poke fun at all the weird casseroles that women make, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so true. Like my mom is like, there's a big sale at Sam's Club, I'm inventing a casserole, we're gonna see if it's good, doesn't matter if it's healthy for you, doesn't matter if you like it, it was on sale. But yeah, that too. It's just there is like this weird contradictory, like, oh, I want to be healthy and natural in this way. I'm skeptical of medicines, but then also like I am going to eat a lot of very processed foods, and I am going to get Botox, and I am going to bleach my hair. It just, yeah, very contradictory stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and like all of this is in the name of perfection and chasing this ordeal. And it's so hard. Like it is so hard to live in this society that is so hard on itself. Like you can be so beautiful, but it's always like, okay, like still chasing, like I need to work out more, I need to lose 10 more pounds, I need to do this, I need to do that, I'm so ugly if I don't have a spray tan. And it's like, oh my goodness, like you've already got these, like it's insane to me watching some of these people who already have that gorgeous incestuous face, and they're like, oh my god, don't look at me, I'm so ugly.
Yeah, the cast of Secret Lives, they're all very open about the procedures they have done. And sometimes I'm like, what is there to fix? Like, what are you fixing? You are so gorgeous. What are you doing? There's nothing to fix. There is nothing to fix.
Yes, yes. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives just came out with season 3. And of course,
Yeah.
I've already watched it all in one day. I'm already on my second rewatch. And it is just so sad. Like, we are so hard. There's so many reasons to be hard on these women that are legitimate, and to like comment on the negatively on these women's looks is just like so heartbreaking, because they are all so gorgeous and they hold each other to such an impossible standard, and it just makes me cry. It makes me cry.
Yeah, I mean, even like as we're just talking about like this nostalgia for our childhood and our neighborhoods we grew up in, it's such a weird feeling, because like, of course, I do look back on parts of it with rose-colored glasses, and I'm very fond of some elements, and I have a lot of LDS loved ones, but then at the same time, like, I'm very aware of homophobia, I'm very aware of racism, I'm all these things. And so I guess like yeah, I just always feel the need to say something about that. Like, just because I'm speaking fondly about, you know, Sister Green teaching me how to sew and I'm a little girl, doesn't mean that I think it's a perfect, magical, mystical place with no flaws at all. But yes, yeah, I do think that they hold themselves and each other up to just an absolutely impossible to achieve standard, just all around the clock.
Yes. No, thank you so much for pointing that out. Like, I definitely, sometimes I forget the trauma I've been through. Like, so back in 2017, my second year of undergrad, I shaved my head. I had bleached my hair so badly. It was, I had a bob, but it was not cute.
Did you maybe have a friend help you that had no business?
No, she had all the business, because she
Dumping
had
chemicals on
cutest, she had the cutest blonde ever. We like had just barely met too. I was like,
yeah. Like, speaking of this do it yourself and like women doing each other's hair and nails, I'm like, yes, we definitely have experimented on each other's faces, hair, nails, skin.
Yes. You scooped me up and helped me out and bleached my hair.
I did you so dirty, and then you did my makeup for my wedding, and you made me so flawless. And thanks for not giving me what I deserve. But anyways, back to your hair.
You saved me. You saved me, because you taught me so much about how to properly blonde my own hair at home, and like really get those nice looking roots instead of those like horrible hot roots. Yeah, before you, I had no clue. But yes, I had a shaved head, and that was crazy too, because that was crazy work for me to be working it down east with a shaved head.
Oh my God, I forgot that those times like intersected. Yeah.
You were so sweet. You're like, oh, you just really bring a different clientele into our store.
I think you're so beautiful. Like, okay, first of all, your hair like is distressed. Like, you have the most beautiful hair on this planet. But your face is also so beautiful. You're definitely one of those women who like, you shave your face and it's just like, look at my bone structure, you bitch. Like, you looked very good. I know it was like, you don't look back on that with a lot of fondness, but I thought you looked very cool. I knew you looked very cool, is what I should say.
Thank you. No, I struggle because I loved having a shaved head, actually. Like, there were some days where I cried because I felt like an egg. I felt like a manly egg. But for the most part, having a shaved head was excellent. It was just the growing it out that made me want to throw myself into the street, because I looked like a mushroom. I looked like a mushroom toad.
No, I do. Before we go too far in, I do want to
Yes.
say to people who are maybe new to the show, Down East is a Mormon-owned clothing store. They sell modest clothing, and that is where we met and became friends, working there. And so when Nina says I had a shaved head working at Down East, the clientele, a lot of them, I'm sure, were surprised to see it. They weren't edgy and cool enough to know how fierce and fabulous you were looking. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to add that context really quick.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I really think I found a way to, I really found out how to wear a shaved head in a God-fearing way. Yeah, shout out to my mom because I have a really nicely shaped head, so it worked out. But yeah, so I had a shaved head for a year, and that was a great exercise in learning who I am and what I look like and navigating beauty in Utah. I mean, very blessed to have to live in Salt Lake City, like in the downtown area, be going to the University of Utah, an amazing college, an amazing school. And so like I was pretty blessed because like, yes, I did experience like some homophobia, just like in general, just like I feel like anything I did that annoyed my parents are like, so you're a lesbian, so you're a lesbian, so you're a lesbian. And it's like, well, yes, but no. It's like just because the only letters y'all know about the LGBTQ are the L and the G doesn't mean y'all know anything about me. So, and it's just like, again, like, I think it's very important for these conversations to happen so we can continue to disentangle ourselves from this like performance of gender. Like gender is again, like we made that up and we hurt people and reward people based on that. And so it's hard to like do it within yourself. But it's a journey worth taking for sure. Because the more kind we are to ourselves, the kinder we are to other people. And it's also just like minding your own business. Like, I think that's also really important to do. Like sometimes, like if someone's wearing ugly Republican makeup, let them live their life. There are lessons that they need to learn in their own time sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely plenty of people who look at how I dress and do my hair, and they're like, "What the hell is she doing?" I wore some loud stuff when I left the Mormon church and was in my 20s. I wore some crazy stuff that I would not wear today.
But you're so iconic. Like everything Shelby does, just know I'm taking notes. Like anything cool I've ever done, it's because Shelby did it first. And I just want to do everything she does because she has the best style, the best fashion. I didn't believe that Shelby worked at Down East when I first got there because I was just like, who is this fashion icon? Who is this Marilyn Monroe recreation? Like, and I just live for everything you do, Shelby, by the way.
Oh, I love you, girl. That's too kind. But anyway, back to Utah beauty. There is another, well, this also, you see it a lot in fashion as well as makeup, but Utah historically has been like roughly 10 years behind a lot of other states in terms of beauty and fashion and trends. And I have heard when I worked in retail at international chains, I had repeatedly heard that Utah and Idaho and Wyoming locations get products that other stores didn't sell later, or they got their shipment last because Utahns and the surrounding states are often just slower to adopt and become aware of trends. But Utah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. I can't verify it.
It makes sense. It makes so much sense.
I will say, when I worked at Urban Outfitters, things that were new arrival in our store were often on clearance on the website. So there's evidence to support this, but I can't prove it. I wasn't high enough up on the food chain to know or anything like any of that for sure. But anyways, a lot of beauty, like especially the mid-range beauty and high-end beauty, was pretty slow to come to Utah. I want to say first Sephora ever in Utah was built around 2010-ish, and it was the only location for a long time.
Mm-hmm. When Idaho Falls got Sephora inside Kohl's, I think it was Kohl's, or no, it was in JCPenney.
Oh, yeah.
In
that
the mall.
Was an experiment.
That was the biggest freaking deal ever. Like, oh my gosh, like, gotta travel an hour, gotta go see it. That was so major because I like truly growing up in southeastern Idaho, I was just like, okay, like the hottest new makeup is just whatever Revlon is coming out with, whatever is what the Bella Hadid L'Oreal collaboration had me quaking in my boots.
Yeah, there really was like the really rich fancy ladies might get some Clinique, but you couldn't even just get it nearby. You would have to go to a department store in Salt Lake to get it, and then you would bulk up so you don't have to go back again for a while. But it really was like you could get Clinique at a department store, then eventually you could get MAC at one or two department stores, but for the most part it was just drugstore stuff.
Yeah, I remember like, oh my gosh, like we drove it was 4 hours back when the speed limits were 70. Now they're 80. This was like 15 years ago. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just remember being like, Dad, like, we're going to Salt Lake. We got to go to the mall. We got to go to Fashion Place Mall, and like going to the MAC store and just crying, begging, pleading, throwing up to get my dad to get me the MAC Fix Plus setting spray. That was a time. Like,
did
that's
he cave to you? How long did it well, no, he did cave because I know your dad.
It only took like 3 months beforehand of talking about it every single day, being like, Dad, all I want is this, all I want is this, all I want is this. And then the entire 4-hour car ride being like, Dad. He's like, okay, honey, whatever you say, just stop talking about it. But of course, there was always something new to talk about after that. So
yeah, I mean, I do want to give some context though. Nina's dad he's like a sitcom dad. He has such unbelievably beautiful daughters that he cannot say no to. And he's a man of science. He's a little nerdy. And when one of his daughters asks him for something, you just see bullets, just sweat, just like, oh no, I can't say no to her. She wants something. He's the sweetest man. My dad would ground me for asking him more than twice. It would have been so mad. I would have been in so much trouble for even asking that. But I do want to talk about, well, I want to confess something actually.
yes.
I became aware of lots of things late in life because of just being sheltered. One of them, one of the most notable, I didn't know that Weird Al was making like fake parody music until way too late, like end of high school, because I hadn't heard any of the songs he was parodying. But Sephora, I actually didn't know what Sephora was. Like my mid-20s, I think. I worked with a girl in retail who was bragging about how she worked at the Sephora during their grand opening, and she was talking about what a big deal it was to be working at the first Sephora. And she was talking about it like it was so cool, and everybody was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know what she was talking about. I did not know what Sephora was. So anyways, it's probably like 23 or 24 when I found out what Sephora was.
Wow. No, I love that. What peace you must have felt. Like, I'm so into it. Sometimes I forget that a lot of people don't know about any of that. And it's just like, just know if you are not interested in getting more into makeup, enjoy your peace. But if you are interested in it, go ahead, follow us. I will talk your ear all off about it. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else you want to mention about Utah Beauty? This is like a fun little amuse-bouche getting started, just so we can give a little bit of context for like how we have experienced makeup and beauty out here in the Utah Valley with the LDS expectations and standards.
I think generally speaking, Utah in general is just behind the times. And then I feel like you see the pattern of people not being aware because they don't have access to it, or just because they're not as involved in like pop culture and just trends in general. And then they go way overboard when they do have access. I'm talking to you, Meredith Marks, and your feather boas everywhere for everything. They're having brunch on a Tuesday and she's wearing feathers. Honestly, I'm jealous. I wish I could afford that many ostrich feathers.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of it is just like sticking with what works and having the same routine for ever. It's like,
okay, I don't like that you said that because I feel very attacked.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great because sometimes following all the trends will have you with eyebrows up to your hairline and like overline lips till you look like you have a mustache.
I've done my makeup pretty much the same until you tell me, girl, what are you doing? That's out of style, forever ago. And then I'm like, yeah, I totally knew that.
Okay, but I've never said that to you.
No, but I remember when you told me that matte lipstick was out of style, and I was like, oh yeah. And I really haven't like changed my makeup a whole lot. Even in the past like 14 years, probably. I mean, like just the way that I apply it, I've changed some of like the products I use very gradually, but it's only after other people are like, what is that? Like, what are you doing?
Like, I think you've always looked good. And even like, yes, you wore the matte lips for like longer, even when like glossy lips were in, but I was still just like, I'm still taking notes because your application looks so good in the long. I was more just like, give me info on how you found a matte lipstick that didn't make like I wear matte lips and it makes my lips look like a just dry and crackly. I'm gonna have to like bleep that out, but
I'm wearing matte lipstick right now,
and you look good.
I love the look of gloss, but I don't want to reapply it all the time. I'm just like, I want it one and done. I want to eat a whole meal and it didn't budge. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I just love gloss because I'm just like, for some reason, I want my lips to be so glossy they can be seen from outer space. They're like, is that an oil spill? No, it's Nina's lips. Yeah, no, it's like making me think, like, there's been a couple of looks that Bronwyn Newport has worn on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on her first season. I like them. She does a lot of trendy makeup that I think looks good, but you have to remember, if you are gonna follow a trend, you have to be okay with the fact that sometimes you're gonna look ugly that day, and sometimes you're gonna look back on that and be like, that was a choice. But again, like, better to have lived life and made some mistakes than to never have tried it all, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it when she does the like wild eyeshadow that matches her outfit. I live for everything she does. When she got on the show, I was like, who the hell is this? But she won me over with the hot dog suit. After that, it was just over. Girl, Lisa Barlow's mismatched eyes.
Okay, I actually
Okay. She's like,
didn't-
oh, my glam team made a mistake. I'm like, do we think that there's really a glam team? Because the streets are talking.
Okay. First of all, I didn't really notice the makeup that much because I couldn't stop looking at her hair. Her hair in that scene was so bad. I could not give a flying hoot what her eyeshadow looked like. If anything, I was like, oh, avant-garde, she's giving dimension. But the weird braids, like the badly done braids, I was like, I couldn't stop looking at that. I mean, if she's doing her own makeup, then mistakes are bound to happen. I don't think, like, I feel bad for whatever makeup artist did that because it's bad to have your work look like that. But if Lisa Barlow did it herself, then I'm giving her applause, because if she's been getting her glam done to even go to frickin' Harmon's, then she's doing pretty good. If that was her first, if that was one of her first 150 attempts at getting good at makeup.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
I'll give her grace on the makeup. It's her behavior that drives me up the wall.
I think either her glam team saw her behavior and was like, oh yeah, or she's doing her own makeup. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
She's
We have no
allegedly.
clue.
Whitney's hair transformation, girl.
Yes.
The red to blonde, so relatable to me. I always go back and forth from red to blonde, which is the most damaging transformation you could do, but that has never stopped me.
And you look so good as both, like both a blonde and a redhead. You look like that was like your natural born hair.
Thank you. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to seeing Whitney with blonde hair. I do love her blonde hair. I just think she's a stunning person either way. Maybe it's projecting, but I do think when people change their look that drastically, sometimes they're going through it. They are.
Yeah. When I shaved my head, I was going through it. When I bleached my hair blonde, I was going through it. When I was growing out those ugly roots, I was like, take me to the Donner Party pass, because that's how bad I was feeling. You saved me though. Honestly, I just like Angie K. Her hair and her makeup, I think, has to be the best on this show. Like, it is always so complimentary. She knows her colors.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, all the women are beautiful. I'm like trying to think. Yeah, like Brittany, her extensions are like always showing.
Oh, Brittany. She is a beautiful, beautiful gal. Even I know better. I mean, I've glued in my own extensions before. Bad choices have been made on my head with my hair. But I know she's got a bigger budget than that. No to the sock in the hair. I feel like the poof in the back never went away. Like the ratting your hair in the back and it looks like a box. That I still see her a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, I would love to see. I mean, Whitney looks so good in all the styles. Like, she looks so cute with the short hair, and like she even wore the graduated bob, the Karen haircut, and she didn't make it look Karen. She made it look like on purpose hot soccer mom. Like, don't mess with me because I'm about to go to hot yoga, hot Pilates, take all my kids to their soccer practices and kick butt doing it. So I'm very jealous. My curly hair could never.
I do love Whitney's haircut. I do. It looks good. It's very becoming.
With that, let's wrap up this episode. That is all our fun commentary on Utah beauty, hair, and makeup. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell us down below the most fun beauty transformation you've ever made. If you want to share with us the deepest, darkest time you were that you decided to change your hair drastically, please commiserate with us. We shared our vulnerable moments with you. You can go ahead and share with us. We would love that. And with that, we will see you in the next episode.
This show is an independent production. The Soap Opera podcast is not affiliated with Bravo, ABC, TLC, or HBO. All names, shows, and references remain the property of their respective right holders. The opinions and speculations expressed are our own and do not represent those of mentioned programs or individuals. Additional credits. Our theme song is The Modern Maiden's Tale by the Ziegfeld Follies, courtesy of the Library of Congress. Thank you for listening.
And if my marriage proves to be phony, give me lots of alimony. That is the 20th century maiden's prayer.